Yeah, two to you with the big O. Roy Orbison. It's called Crying, just on 10 to 8. It's a very good morning to the Dubbo Region Mayor, Matt Dickerson. It's nice to see you here safe in the flesh like it was the other day for Tech Talk. Hello.
So were you crying then with Roy Orbison because you were so excited to see me back, or you were crying because you were sad?
Well, you know, I was crying because I didn't get to go to Minacamo. How was the trip?
Fantastic, and I've already received a couple of messages from people in Minacamo. There's an official event in November this year to celebrate the 70th anniversary of their declaration of a city. So they've already invited us back for the next event that's over there. But it is a wonderful, warm feeling when you walk into Minacamo, when they first pick you up from the airport. You just feel like you're going back with old friends. And some of these people I have known for about 11 years. But even if you only just meet them then, it's a very warm, welcoming feeling.
And Monday, the exchange program applications close. I was talking to Jessica about that, Jessica Moore, from who is your cultural officer.
Yes.
So that's really exciting. Have you spoken to any of those students that have done the exchange?
Oh, absolutely, regularly. So I always like to go and see them off at the airport and remind them that they're representing Dubbo when they're overseas. They're not just going on a fun holiday. They're official representatives of Dubbo, and they take that very seriously.
You wiggle your finger at them?
I don't go that far, but they've got a couple of chaperones that can do that. But I do talk to them when they come back at various occasions, and they'll come along and present to council. But even just running into them, and I ran into one just recently who was working at a local business, and he said, "Thank you very much for the opportunity I had. I felt like I grew up about 3 years in the 2 weeks that I was there," and just talked about it in glowing terms. So yes, we do get a chance to talk to some of those students, come back, and the feedback is always very positive.
All right. Well, don't forget, if someone is interested, you've got until Monday to do that. So get to it now. A couple of committee meetings last night, and well, what are the outcomes? Well, let's talk about those sorts of things. There's a few here that we probably wanted to talk about. There's a couple of draft planning agreements for concrete works around a battery energy storage system and the Wellington South Battery Energy Storage. What's that about?
These are complicated ones. You've got planning agreements, and they're often called VPAs, voluntary planning agreements. So you've got a process whereby there'll be a development. Now, sometimes we've seen a few of these developments that have been renewable projects, but they can be other developments as well. They could be a quarry, that type of thing. Mining, if there's any mining involved, there's those type of agreements there. So these ones that we've talked about here is a tricky one, because you go through a process of negotiation, and it might involve myself or involve our staff negotiating with the actual proponent themselves, and you get a general agreement there, but we need to have a council resolution to actually formally resolve that. So it goes through committee meetings, as it did last night, then it'll go to council in 2 weeks' time, but councillors might say, no, we're not happy with that, we reject that, and so then it's a complicated process to go back to the proponent and say, well, no, council didn't quite agree to that, we got somewhere, we got close, but let's see how we go there. In the case last night, the ones that came to council, councillors resolved to recommend those to go to council as they were, and the proponents were prepared to go to that level as well. So essentially they should go ahead, and again, these are different amounts of money for different projects that will help our community. So when you see mining, when you see renewable projects, when you see quarries in our community, yes, council for the community is receiving some money out of those. Not enough usually is what my opinion is, but generally we're receiving some money for those.
All right, there's some tenders to supply and place asphalt surfacing for the Tamworth Street pavement reconstruction. So that's going to happen?
That's done. That tender has now been awarded as of last night. So Mayoral Asphalt won that tender.
Oh, cool.
Yep, so again, can't talk about the contents of the discussion, but the outcome, and so Mayoral Asphalt.
All right, we've been following the old Dubbo Bowling Club too. Was that spoken about at council last night?
That was one of the items on the agenda. So again, that was in confidential, so I can't talk about the details, but the recommendation from the committees for that particular one was almost a two-part, or several parts to it, but two main parts to it. There's the old bowling club, 74 Windy Street, sometimes called the Greens, and then there's a parcel of land in Keswick, and there's the exact lot number there, so it's the exact details that are in the papers you've got there in front of you. But basically, there's a parcel of land in Keswick that the RSL club would like. There's a parcel of land in Windy Street there, 74 Windy Street, which council has previously resolved to put in an application for, because the RSL club had an EOI process for that. So the recommendation from committees last night to council, so no decision has been made, is that basically we go ahead with the purchase of that, and we also sell the land of that, and those two are somewhat linked, if you like. So there's a sale and a purchase, and I can't talk about the dollar figures there, but the process there is that council recommended that we go ahead and do the sale and the purchase all in one transaction.
All right, that looks like the agreement to sell Keswick land lot 102, being 3.3 hectares of lot 200 on the to the Dubbo RSL Memorial Club. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
And,
so
and
they're
anyone
the
that wants to
numbers.
look at those precise details, they can look up the minutes when they're posted. Again, we can't talk about the discussion, we can't talk about the dollars that we've talked about in there. What we can talk about is the recommendation from council, which is basically to buy land and to sell land and do that all as one linked transaction as such.
All right, so that's what's the next step? I
So
guess
in 2 weeks' time, we've got our council
you'll
meeting.
talk about it at council.
So that we can finally resolve whatever it might be. Now, councillors might change their mind in that recommendation from last night, but at this stage, the recommendation is to do that. If that goes through the council meeting, then effectively that'll be resolved. And we also said, as part of that recommendation to council, once we resolve that, so once it's done, we will then advertise those $2 figures just so the public knows about it. But obviously we're doing a commercial transaction here, so those figures are kept confidential, the same as the tender figures are kept confidential.
Understood. Drinking water management system annual report.
So this is as a result of, you remember the fluoride that wasn't put in the water from several years ago. There was a report that went to the government, and that went through some channels in council, but it didn't actually go to a public council meeting. And one of the things that we picked up from that was, again, a very bad situation where fluoride wasn't in the water, and effectively the public didn't know about that. They should have been told about that at the time. Once we found out about it in this council, we obviously told the public when we found out about it. But one of the ways to stop that is to have our report that has to go to the state government each year, to actually have that as part of our process from a committee meeting and council meeting perspective. So that drinking water report goes there, and that gives you all the details of what's happened with our drinking water throughout the year. So it's a good, open, transparent process to improve upon a failing from previously.
All right. Any update on Mumble's water supply? Because that was obviously a non-drinkable boiled water alert. Is that still in play?
That's still in play, but I'm hopeful we'll get some sort of official advice today. That's a discussion with the state government about lifting that boil water alert. So I'm hopeful, but I can't say definitely, but I'm hopeful that today sometime that should be lifted. But keep boiling your water for the moment if you live in Mumble, if you're connected to that water supply.
All right, I'm going to bump into the news probably, but Dubbo's Macquarie Rivershed Pathway, you have an official opening today?
Yeah, very exciting. People will have noticed that it's down there, it's being used. I've already ridden my bike along that particular area there. About $3.23 million, that project, 330 metres of shared pathway. And this is really to keep opening up the river for people to actually use and enjoy. And of course, the next stage of that is the entertainment precinct area there. So that'll feed into that. So this is almost stage one of what we're going to see down there around Ollie Robbins Oval. So very exciting. So this morning, 9:30 a.m, we'll do the official opening of that.
All right, next council meeting, what date?
2 weeks' time. So
weeks.
Thursday, last night, 2 weeks from last night.
Dubbo Region Mayor Matt Dickerson, thank you.
Thanks, Brett.
Enjoy your Friday and your weekend. Here at 2 I've quickly kept the mayor because there's a big event tonight and you get to show off and show us how you dance and all of that sort of thing. It's a big night tonight, Matt.
It is a big night. You are building it up a little bit too much from my perspective, showing off how I dance. I'm not sure that's what it's called, but it is a great event for Cancer Council. And there are so many different activities and events in our community that are raising money and doing things for different organisations. It's hard to get in there in that crowded environment and actually make yours stand out. But the Cancer Council has done this in previous years. In fact, I participated in, it might have been the very first Dancing with the Stars. I'm going back to about 2009. It's about the last time I danced, actually, Brett, was the last time I did Dancing with the Stars. So it's actually a really good, fun event. We have the advantage in all the different stars, and I say stars in inverted commas, all the different community people that are doing it have the advantage of having people that are very good at dancing, in other words, dance studios. So I've got Arana Dance Centre is the one that I've been given to try and make me do something on stage, but of course we'll have other talented dancers on stage with me that hopefully make me look a lot better than my limited talents will let me look. But a good event. There's fundraising. You can go on, if you look on my social media, I've got links to the fundraising, so you can do donations there. Obviously the dinner itself, people have already bought tickets for that. I assume that's sold out because there'll be people so excited to see us all dancing there. But again, a good community fundraiser, and I'm sure there'll be some videos after the event of what I look like and the other stars look like on stage. I'm not sure if I want to see those, but
I reckon you'll be able to cut a rug all right. If we want to donate to you for Cancer Council, how do we do so?
yeah, just go to my social media sites, probably the easiest way. Any of mine, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, etc. If you go to any of those, I've got a link on those. I've actually got some little samples of me doing some dances, just little snippets to give people a bit of an idea of the lack of talent that I've got there. And I've got links on there. So basically, and you're right, it's not donating to me per se.
No.
It's there are pages for all the different stars that are dancing tonight, and each one people are encouraged to donate to that person. But obviously, all that money goes straight through
What's
the Cancer
their goal
Council.
this year to raise funds?
As much as possible.
Yeah,
That's,
sure.
It's always the bottom line.
No, that's
you
perfect.
set a goal there, then sometimes people say, "Oh, you've reached your goal. That's all fine." So yeah, look, have a look on my social media, but well done to the Cancer Council and well done to the other stars as well. They're all doing a good job, and my preparation has been limited because, as you know, I've been overseas in Minakamo, so my preparation started Wednesday this week, so it's been a bit of a tough ask for the dance studio that I've been assigned to, so thank you to them for helping out.
So if we see you robot dancing tonight, we'll understand why, right?
That's right. I like that idea. I might see if I can add that
just
in.
do
Bit
that.
of, bit of robot
I
dancing.
reckon that'd be unique and that might help. All right. Not help you dancing, I just meant that might be okay to watch.
Yeah,
Good
sure.
luck tonight, and
Thank
I
you.
hope it goes well. And thanks for, everyone participating, because it really takes, a lot of that time and energy, as you just said, to raise funds like this for
Yeah,
the
it
Cancer
does.
Council. So good job, Matt. Thanks for
thanks.
hanging around. I really appreciate it. We'll catch up. Let me know how you go.
Thanks, Bret.